Good evening, folks, and a very, very warm welcome to DinamoTV, the official podcast of St Albans Dinamo Football Club. My name is Tonchi Prusats, and I'll be with you over the next hour or so. And welcome to episode 33. It's, in fact, a rescheduled episode, as obviously last night we couldn't clash with our sister club, Sydney United, who unfortunately bombed out of the NPL New South Wales elimination finals. But nonetheless, we certainly were watching them with to see how they went. Now, tonight's show, folks, we've got a big show. The senior men's season may be over, but there's still lots of football left with the senior women's. And speaking of the senior women's, we'll hear from their coach, Tom Pondeljak, after last week's big win over Spring Hills. They've got their final game of the season coming up this Sunday at home, so make sure you're there. 3 p.m. against Brunswick City. We're going to hear from four of the girls from the senior women's team: Kristina Colina, Emily Grgic, Lyla Vidakovic, and Tayla Pavlinusic, who are all involved in the Mini Tillies program at DINAMO as well. So we'll be hearing about that program, what they enjoyed most about the season just gone by, and what they're looking forward to in the off-season. We've also got the senior men's football operations manager, Jason Xerri, and he'll be letting us in on what's been happening since the season, the NPL Victoria season finished. And on a sad note, we also pay tribute to the founder of our sister club, FC Strathmore Split, and certainly a good friend of the club, Frank Rezo, who unfortunately passed away earlier today. We've got heaps happening on the show today, folks. Strap yourself in, and we're going to take a short break with our news, with a word from our major sponsor, the I&D Group, and after that, we've got the news desk coming up.
The I&D Group is regarded as one of the largest deliverers of concrete structure solutions in Victoria. Formed in 1994 by Ivan and Kathy Filipovic, their passion and commitment to getting the job done safely and economically has underpinned their success in the industry. I&D partners with large-scale building and construction companies in both the private and public sectors on projects large and small. With our corporate headquarters based in South Melbourne and storage yard based in the southeast suburbs, we have at our disposal thousands of square metres of quality materials, along with state-of-the-art lifting and crane equipment, enabling us to deliver the largest projects. We are committed to delivering high-quality projects by partnering with our clients and collaborating with project suppliers to ensure each job is delivered to exceed expectations. From humble beginnings, I&D now employs more than 1,200 dedicated professional and support staff, involved in a number of landmark projects right across Victoria. The I&D Group is a massive supporter of the Croatian community, backed soccer clubs in Victoria, and is proud to be the major sponsor of the St Albans Dinamo Football Club in 2024.
Welcome back to the news desk. And unfortunately, we start tonight's news desk on a sad note. Frank Rezo, the founder of Strathmore Split, or back in those days as it was known as HNK Split, he passed away early today. And I'm going to read the tribute to the late Frank Rezo that was posted by Strathmore Split earlier today. It is with great sadness that FC Strathmore Split shares the passing of club founder Frank Rezo. Frank, or known by many as Rezo, was compassionate, empathetic, with a direct and assertive nature. His love for football was profound, and his affection for Strathmore Split was infinite, with his constant presence at training nights and match days. An immigrant to Australia, his love of football didn't just stop at Strathmore Split. He was a strong supporter of the other Croatian football clubs in Melbourne, including our very own Dinamo, taking up membership and regularly attending match days. Such was his passion for the Croatian community. Of significant importance to Rezo was his annual attendance of over 40 years, the largest and oldest ethnic football tournament in Australia, the Australian-Croatian Soccer Tournament. In addition, Rezo could be seen on the odd occasion at other local community football club matches, respected by many with his warm and friendly nature. In 1976, Rezo had a vision to form a new football club for newly arrived Croatian immigrants in Melbourne as a social connection to the community that resulted in the establishment of Split Soccer Club. His dedication, ambition, and drive as a committee member for nearly 2 decades, holding the club secretary position whilst managing the club, where he was honoured with life membership. In 2015, Rezo was recognised for his contribution to the Australian-Croatian football community and inducted in the Croatian Soccer Association of Australia Hall of Fame. Rezo leaves a legacy as the founder of Split Soccer Club. Some 50 years later, that has grown from one team to nearly 400 players who wear the club's emblem, representing his patriotism towards the Croatian community. We will forever remember Rezo for his infectious enthusiasm, unwavering support, and honest-natured spirit. Our deepest condolences go out to his family and to everyone at FC Strathmore Split who are in our thoughts and prayers. Rezo will be deeply missed, and his legacy will live on through our club, forever a Split channel. Trolling through the YouTube earlier today, I came across this tribute that was put together by Ante Stipic and some of the other guys at Strathmore Split as part of their 40th anniversary in 2016. Goes for about 5.5 minutes, whatever. And it's an interview back then with Frank about the early origins of our sister club, Strathmore Split.
Frank Rezo formed the club 1976. Xerri died 18th of September 76. Formed the club. I had 9 players playing for Grgic. And Leo Matic come with the idea, say we got 9 players, we can get 2 more, we can get our own club. These people who was with me at that time was, it's me, Frank Rezo, Leo Matic, Mitja Samarđija, Ante Matic, Mate Kovačević, Ivan Samarđija. Then, couple of months after, we find a good sponsor, called Kacijan Perici, that's a Split auto repair. Which is, he give us a good finance. I think he gave us $3,000 at that time. Yeah. First coach of Split was Mate Kovačević. Grand was key on Park Reservoir. We was there. You have to have a business line. Industrial League need a business line. And we didn't have Croatian people that time, business people. They got a Croatian, not a businessman, auto repair. They call Zagreb. When I come to Camberfield, Zagreb, I saw Split auto repair. And I went there, asked Kacijan and Vlado, would they like to sponsor me? We formed the club. They said yes, right away. Permission from Kacijan and Vlado, Krčmar, and my wife fill up the paper. I took to Waverley to Rome Darlington. In 2 weeks I was registered. When we was registered that year, Melbourne Essendon Lions had a Croatian tournament. Eli Burin, Frank Burin, he wouldn't let us play. He said, "You're not registered yet." I said, "I got my paper here, we are registered." And we missed out on the 76 tournament. He wouldn't let us apply. Since 77, 78, there was our first tournament. We went to Adelaide, and we never missed a tournament again. Those uniforms actually are ordered in Albury, because when Leo went to holiday in Croatia, I told him to buy a uniform from Zagreb. And he came back, he didn't get uniforms, he bought only goods from Zagreb. Greatest achievement was when we win Black Douglas Cup, when we beat Yugoslav club Tarax. There was ex-JVST players. Even Ibra Djavdic, he was ex-Melbourne player, he played for them. Or we still beat them. Željko Olovka scored the goals. That's my second family split. We formed the club. When I lose the game, I couldn't sleep for 2 weeks. Soccer balls running through my head.
Yes, Frank Rezo, a wonderful figure, a great man, and may he rest in peace. On behalf of everyone here at Dynamo, our deepest condolences to his family and to everyone at FC Strathmore Split. All right, moving along now to other news. Before we go on to the senior women's team, Dynamo Fish Night on tomorrow night, folks. There are still some tables left. Be sure to text Anna right now, 0401 505 100. So from 7 o'clock onwards, bookings are essential. And if you book a table of 8 or more, you go into a draw for a door prize. So minimum of 4 people per booking. We do need people to book tonight, because we do need to know how many ports here, how much fish to get and organise and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, still a few more tables left. The women's team on last weekend recorded a dramatic 8-0 win, or comprehensive is the word rather than dramatic. Comprehensive 8-0 win over Spring Hills in the penultimate round of the season. Sienna Delia scored 4 goals, taking her season's tally to a very, very impressive 18 goals from 13 games. Jana Colina scored 3 goals, and she's the leading goal scorer at Dynamo. She's got 20 goals from 14 games. Kristina Colina scored the other goal to round out the scoring. As you can see, Dynamo are in second spot. Uni Hill Eagles do have a game in hand. They did play a game last night against Brunswick City. We're not sure of the score. If anyone actually is watching and they do know the score, pop it in the comments section. But look, either way, we are likely to finish in second spot. And talking to Tom Pondeljak during the week and some of the ladies there during one of their following one of their training sessions, it certainly looks like Dynamo women's team will be promoted next year into Victorian State League 1 and joining our other sister club, North Geelong Warriors, in State 1. And obviously that means we will then need to field a reserves team, but with a very good 15s and a very good 16s team. And already some interest in new players coming to the club, well, we certainly feel that we can field 2 teams. But stay tuned for that. And here's some Dynamo TV's Nick Delia, who's also the team manager of the senior women's team. He caught up with Tom after that 8-0 win over Spring Hills. This is what Tom had to say.
Tommy, how'd you go tonight?
Yeah, look, the girls were absolutely awesome tonight. Probably one of their best performances I've seen. Spring Hill were good value. Obviously, we big scoreline, but girls from the first whistle, I just told them before the game to just come out firing, and they did just that. So no, they were awesome tonight. They were brilliant.
One game to go. What are you thinking?
Yeah, look, we've got a game to go. Obviously, we don't know how the other result went, but I said to the girls, we've got to cement second spot. That's our focus. So yeah, obviously tonight was awesome, and obviously next week, last game at home, we really want to put in another ultra good performance, and hopefully we get another 3 points.
Good stuff, well done, mate.
Tom Pondeljak, the head coach of the senior women's team. A little bit later on in the show, we will hear from 4 of the young ladies who are also part of the senior women's team, but they're also coaches of the Mini Tillies program. Very successful first year of having the Mini Tillies for the young girls here at Dynamo. And next year, that program is going to get even bigger and even better, and our whole junior setup is just going to go to another level. So stay tuned for that a little bit later on. But going back to the final score there, 8-0, which means we're in second position on the ladder. This Sunday, final game of the season. So please, everyone come down there after you've had a Father's Day luncheon. And speaking of which, to all the fathers, to all the dads, at Dynamo, a big happy Father's Day for Sunday. But after Father's Day, you've had a lunch, you've had a breakfast, or whatever the case may be, get down to Dynamo and watch the senior women's team play their final game of the season against Brunswick City at 3 p.m. Still a bit of football left in the season. And then before you know it, it'll be the off-season and it'll be the pre-season. And then we'll go again next season. Before then, the coaching positions are up for the taking at the moment. Planning has started for the 2026 season. So we're talking expressions of interest are being sought for the Dynamo's Junior Boys NPL for next season. Any coaches who are interested, there's a jot form there. But also go to any of our social media platforms and channels as well. And you'll be able to get all that information there as well. That brings us to the end of the news desk. Now, you obviously would have seen during the week, one of our brightest young talents has been snapped up by the Melbourne Victory. And we're so proud of the fact that at such a young age, he was one of the rising stars in the NPL Victoria competition. And, of course, we're talking about Oliver Grgic, who will now be calling Melbourne Victory home, but he's always welcome here at Dynamo at Churchill Reserve, of course. The team from Bruce Media, who are also behind the rejuvenation of the Hrvatski Vjesnik, they were down at the club. If you haven't seen this very, very special feature on Oliver and his family, it's coming up next. And then after that, we've got the rest of the show to follow.
Feeling awesome there. It's been quite a long journey, but still on that road, so yeah, feeling great. Just want to get started. It's going to be
Apologies there, we seem to have some sort of problems there. We're going to try and rectify that as soon as we can. For whatever reason, that just seems to have, we've got a bit of a little problem, but we'll straight away see what we can do. Just bear with us for a second.
feeling awesome there. It's been quite a long journey, but still on that road, so yeah, feeling great. Just want to get started. Going to be around some great A-League players who are established in the league, and obviously some younger players that I know, and yeah, I'm just going to be able to train every day and do what I love. hopefully I get a couple chances to make my debut, and I just want to score goals, that's all. Get the ball and drive forward and celebrate in front of the terrace. So yeah, hopefully that comes true.
Onik, Grgic. Oh yes! He curled that in magnificently.
Dad's always been, well, I wouldn't say tough on me, but yeah, it's better to have a tough parent, and he was always pushing you to keep going and stuff like that. So yeah, it's great, and my mum's there for like sort of emotional side, but that's all right. You need a bit of both. Mum, I couldn't really keep it in. She'd already known in a couple of days, and I didn't really know, and in the end she wanted to tell me because she's not really one to keep secrets. But my dad's reaction, he was very happy, obviously, and yeah, he's always said, you always got to keep working harder, so this is only the start. Yeah, and my sister, she was actually quite angry that she was the last person to find out. She's like, I better be at every game. So
we're excited that you know, the next journey of his soccer is coming early, I think, at the age of 17. Not many kids will get that opportunity, and I think we're all excited that he's got that opportunity now. And it's only the beginning, I guess. It's only the beginning of more hard work, more dedication, more commitment. He has been doing it now for a long time, and I think it's just normal for him to, you know, get up every morning and do the hard yards, and he'll only get better from it. So.
Started maybe 4 or 5 years old in the Mali Plavi at DINAMO, and sort of worked my way up. Had many coaches along the way, and when I was younger, people like Mickey Pete and Rika Postelikas had a big impact because they were coaches who pushed for a lot of games when I was younger, which is what young kids at like 7, 8 years old need. Around 15 years old, I had coached Ante Didelica, and he was also another big part. And it sort of just escalated, and at 15 years of age I went to play at Melbourne City. A lot of good people around me, coaches like Frankie Barilla and Lewis Potter, and obviously Alessandro Diamanti. In the end it didn't escalate, but so I sort of come back to DINAMO, and that's where Cam Watson and Billy Selesky and obviously Tom Pondeljak, sort of the first coach I ever had that had played at the highest level in Australia. Massive influence on my career so far. He came in at under 12s, and you could see we had a great bond. He'd always help me whenever I needed help, and yeah, given that he played at the highest level in Australia and has won the most championships, it's always great to learn off someone like that.
The old saying that it takes a village to, you know, bring a kid up, that's what I think DINAMO has done. We're really proud to share this journey with everyone at the club and all the mums and dads and all the kids that I guess make our club at DINAMO a special little place for kids growing up and kids playing their football.
It's not just a club, it's a massive family of people who love the club and are there every single day. And this year it was the 50th anniversary, and it's been a big year for the club, and yeah, I'm just very grateful to everyone who's going to be following me now, because everyone at DINAMO has played a part, and yeah, everyone supports everyone, so yeah, it's great.
most enjoyable thing was seeing younger girls come up and enjoy the game the way that we do, and being able to teach them and see them progress throughout the year as well was really rewarding. I think just seeing how many young girls, we see them around the club, and it's good to see them actually come here and want to be involved in a program. So many girls around, it's great to see. We're obviously making a difference, you know, senior women, we're a role model to them, and yeah, it's good to see them.
Yeah. So this year we coached the Mini Tillies, and lots of the girls came very shy to themselves and they weren't very sure about soccer. But by the end of it, the girls didn't want to go home. They were hugging onto us saying, no, we don't want you guys to go, we love soccer, and that just made us feel like we did something. We introduced the sport to them, and as well as that, they made so many friends and they didn't want to go home.
Seeing all the girls show up was really nice. There was a lot of them, I think maybe 21 girls. And soccer aside, I think it's nice to see them just like flourish as young kids and get confidence over the few weeks was really good to see.
Highlight is always just to play and be involved and stuff like that, but I think also seeing the younger teams also come up and train with us too. Obviously, with the potential to be promoted, we need a reserves team, so I think it was really important to have that gap closed, and yeah, it was really nice to see them come and slot in nicely. I think just seeing like us girls evolve like together, we still bring the same thing every season. We bring that passion, that fire in us all, and we're just continuing to grow together as a group and hopefully get promoted.
For me, it's been, as I'm the youngest in the squad, I feel like it's been a great opportunity for me to like get in with the older girls and to explore like senior women's league instead of just like a more junior league. So for me, it's been very good for my development, and I feel like I've learned a lot and I've made heaps of new friends.
Yeah. I think us working harder and harder over every week was really good to see, and it's paid off where we're sitting on the table right now, and hopefully we can keep doing that and bring it on next year too.
I think my biggest disappointment this year was losing to Uni Hill twice. They finished first, looking likely, and I think on our good days we're better than them, but unfortunately we just didn't show up when we needed to, and yeah, that's why we are where we are now. I think all the girls can agree, probably losing to Uni Hill, both home and away. Pretty disappointing, but didn't show up when we needed to get the 3 points, and yeah, it's probably been the low light of the season.
The biggest disappointment, as all the girls have said, has been us losing home and away to Uni Hill. Both times we didn't show up, but I'm sure if we played one of our better games against them, we would have smashed them easily, so it's a bit disappointing.
I think this is an obvious one, losing to Uni Hill twice. Yeah, we weren't able to show up the way we usually do in those two games, so that was very disappointing for us.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to recouping the body a little bit. It's been a tough season, and I'm looking forward to a new challenge next year, and building on what we've built this year and last year and prior to that as well. I think we're getting better every year, and I'm excited to see what that looks like in 2026. Yes, it'll be nice to finish, obviously every year finishing off with tourney. It's always a good thing to wrap up the season with, and yeah, just having a rest. I think all the girls have put a good shift in this season, so we're all looking forward to a nice long break, and yeah, hopefully come next season we're stronger and fitter, and yeah, good to see what challenges come our way.
So in the off season, lots of the girls were all very excited for tourney. Tourney's the best time of the year for many. And we're all just very excited to get back into training in the off-season, see each other. I know I speak for myself, but I'm sure lots of the girls as well. We love training, we love seeing the girls. It's just such a good environment here at DINAMO, and we love it so much.
In the off-season, I think we're all pretty excited for tourney. Tourney is always a pretty exciting one for us girls. And I think we're all pretty excited to potentially be promoted next year and see some new challenges. I think that would be good for us and our growth.
Welcome back to DinamoTV, and it's time for our special guest tonight. And we're touching base with the Senior Football Operations Manager for Dinamo, Jason Xerri. Jason, welcome back to DinamoTV. Thank you for getting. It's the off season, I know, but mate, we appreciate you coming on the show and giving us a bit of a rundown of the season that was.
Always a pleasure, Tom. Happy to be on board.
Yeah. Now, mate, from your perspective, how did you see the 2025 season that just went by?
Oh, I guess, look, it's been a bit of a sweet and sour kind of thing in regards to the season. I suppose we showed, obviously, we can match it with the best. We were at our best, and obviously probably struggled a little bit at times in patches there, which probably cost us at the end not making finals or getting close to finals. So I guess overall, from that perspective, probably a little bit frustrating for all concerned. But saying that, there's always, there's other positives that come out of the season, and I think we're slowly building a really good foundation going forward, and just showed in so many parts of the season on the park and performances that we, as I said earlier, we can match it with the best. And there were some games there that we probably we just felt a little bit short on, but those games that you fall a little bit short on end up costing you at the end of the year. And it's obviously an area where obviously we'll reflect on that, and I'm sure the coaching staff will assess all of that and obviously work towards making sure that we're prepared differently for those occasions next year.
Yeah, look, in hindsight, what did we do right this year? In your opinion, as a football ops manager, what did we do right on or off the field as far as the senior men's team?
Oh, look, I think the fact that we brought people on board, especially in the coaching department, that were added bonuses. I think obviously Cam and Billy were obviously here from last year, but bringing Tom Pondeljak in. There's a great benefit to the team and his input, and the same in the goalkeeping department with Tony Pavlinusic as well. He's been great as well, and his input. So I think from that point of view, it's been great. Obviously, we've had the medical staff in obviously from Stefan and Johnny from last year, the medical team has stayed on board this year. So, them working with the coaches has worked really well, and I think that showed with the lack of soft tissue injuries and so forth. So
that's a good point. That's stability as well. That's a really good point you make.
Yeah, so stability in regards to all of that is something that's been a real positive, and something that we've worked really hard at trying to, I guess, establish as part of our football.
Yeah. What about the negatives, or better said, what could we have done better now that we sort of have the benefit of hindsight?
Oh, look, I think every year, even if you have a really successful season, I think there's always room for improvement. I think any organisation that doesn't recognise that is delusional, to be honest. So there's obviously always room for improvement, whether they're our 1%ers that we do on a weekly basis, whether it's small things that we do, but I think we always assess those in the off season and try to work those out once we have those conversations with the coaching group and speaking to the players and see how we can better equip ourselves in those different departments. It could be small things, but a lot of 1%ers end up being a lot at the end of the day. So I'm sure that we'll go through all of that in due course and work what that is out. But overall, I think it's been, like I said earlier, it's just been a bit of a frustrating season, because there was a lot of things that we're doing really, really well. There was a lot of performances in there against some really good sides that we did extremely well in. I think anyone that's watched us for 26 rounds would probably agree that for most part we've played some really good football, and that's a real positive, and it's something that we can always build on going forward. And every season you sort of you top up on personnel to try and improve those areas, and certainly we're doing that in the off season.
Yeah, what about the competition itself, the NPL Victoria League? I mean, every year it just seems to be getting better and better quality-wise, the players signed, the crowds. This year the crowds, obviously, with Preston, they were really, really good. But overall, outside of the A-League, the NPL Victoria seems to be the best league in Australia. What's your take on the competition? And is it getting harder and harder for smaller clubs like Dinamo to compete against some of the richest and the best clubs in the NPL?
Oh, look, I think definitely there's no. It's the proof is in the pudding that the competition is arguably the best NPL in Victoria. Obviously, with some of the teams that are getting close to making that, Australia Cup final, and Avondale and Heidelberg have obviously shown that. So the competition is definitely strong, and will continue to be strong. As far as our club goes, I probably. And the crowds have obviously been a lot better this year overall, I think, for the competition, and obviously having Preston there makes a huge difference. But then saying that as well, I think our own crowds have increased this year. I think it's being at the club for 11 years, I think it's probably one of the best seasons I've seen in regards to crowd attendance. And I'm not just referring to the Preston game, I'm referring to the whole season across the board. Our home games, obviously, we sort of hindered a little bit at the start of the season with not being able to play on pitch one, and we didn't get to that sort of scenario until a little bit later in the season, which I think had a little bit of a part to play in the overall big picture of the season, how it went. But on a positive, the crowds have been good, and I think Tonch is where we as a club. Need to start to realise as well, we're no longer a small club, although maybe on the outside it might look like that, but I'm not saying that because I'm involved with the club in regards to sort of seeing us whatever, but we're no longer a small club. We're up there with the best, and we're only a small distance away, or a short few changes away from sort of being very competitive in this competition. There's so much infrastructure going on behind the scenes within our organisation, and I don't just mean about buildings and concrete and all that nice stuff that we talk about, but the club's in really good hands, and I think commercially what the club's doing, the way the club's been run by all involved, starting from Ilya to his whole team and other people around there, it's taken our club to a different level. And I think that will go hand in hand then with us being able to compete against some of the big boys in regards to recruitment and so forth. So, on a positive note, for the club in the future, I think although the competition is getting harder, I think we're also
evolving.
We're in line with it, and I think for all Dinamo people should feel really, really excited about the future of the club.
I think you're right there, and watch this space. I think there's some exciting announcements being made in the off-season as well as we head into next season. But look, let's talk about this season. The on-field action has finished, but there's still some off-field commitments, if you like. We've got the NPL Football Victoria Gold Medal Night coming up, the presentation night. Tell us a bit more about those post-season events.
Yeah, so Gold Medal Night is on a Friday, I think the 19th. We'll obviously have our group of people from our club representing our club at that function. There'll be some players coming across to that as well. Hopefully, some of them can feature in some of those awards. And we'll definitely be there as always to represent the club and obviously support the evening itself. Then we've got the presentation night the following day on the Sunday as well. So, yeah, some back-to-back functions there, which are always exciting at this time of the year. And then, obviously, amongst all of that is preparation for tourney, which is...
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Approaching.
Yeah, the boys have had a week off and now they're back in training, and that's coming up. And that's always a big thing. A lot is expected of Dinamo, I guess, at the tournament in years gone by, and this is going to be no different, I guess. So tell us about the preparations for that.
Yeah, look, obviously the boys will we'll have a couple of training sessions well before that. There's a mini tournament coming up which we'll feature in, so that'll sort of get the boys moving again. And as always, we'd like to represent ourselves well in that tournament. We're obviously one of the clubs that have been quite reasonably successful, and this is no different. We go into it with a fine balance of it being sort of an end of season and carnival kind of atmosphere, but at the same time we always aim to do well, and it wouldn't be nice to sort of come home with the goods on our anniversary year.
Yeah, that's for sure. Now, there have been a couple of departures. It's been well publicised. Our young gun, Oli Dragicevic, has gone to Melbourne Victory, of course. But we've also had Gideon Arok. He's moved to Malta. Now, this is a league and a country that you know very well, being of Maltese extraction. Now, he's gone to club Floriana FC. Tell us a bit more about the Maltese league and the club that Gideon's moved to.
I guess look, the club that Giddy's signed for Floriana is probably it's won 26 league titles with another team, Sliema Wanderers, which is their equal figure with regards to how many league championships they've won. So it's Floriana's in the top three. Has always been in the top three, top four of the Maltese football competition for over 100 years, and they always do well. It's I think they got through the second round of conference league qualifying this year, and they got knocked out. So they're, Giddy's going into a professional environment, and it's be a great test for him to see where he's at. He's obviously going from a semi-pro environment to a full-time environment, which is going to be great for him to sort of know what that's like. And look, hopefully he'll do well. But it's certainly not going to be a walk in the park. It's there's a lot of, obviously it's Europe, and obviously I know Maltese football we're minnows when it comes to the grand scheme of things and the big European competitions. But look, the top 4 or top 5 teams in that competition will be equivalent to any A-League side here. So that'd be a great test for Gideon to test his skills amongst that.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, speaking of A-League or A-League clubs or A-League level, Oli Dragicevic has gone to Melbourne Victory. That's just fantastic news. Fantastic recognition as well for the program here at Dinamo. But we all certainly hope he's going to do well, and I'm sure he will. And what about you, though, mate? Do you get a break, or does the planning start now for next season, or have you had a chance to have a bit of a break?
Oh, look, the last couple of weeks have been relatively quiet in the sense of not too much to do once the season finished. Now, obviously, we'll get into next week and start sort of prepping for tourney, and then we'll have conversations around next year. Look, there's been obviously always conversations about the following season well before the season finishes. They'll continue to sort of happen over the course of the next few weeks, and then again we'll just once we've got everything settled and organised, we'll start sort of having the big discussions around recruitment and everything else. I mean, again, saying all of that's already sort of started, but it start to heat up a little bit more in about a month or so.
Before you know it, mate, it'll be time for the pre-season, and then the season proper will start early February of next year, and then when we go all around again. Mate, thank you so much for joining us here on DinamoTV and throughout the year as well. Enjoy the last few weeks, I guess, of the season off the field, and obviously the Croatian soccer tournament up on the Gold Coast. That should be a ripper. And looking forward to seeing you at the presentation night.
Look, thanks, Tonch. I appreciate it. As always, coming on your show and giving our fans a little bit of an insight as to what happens behind the scenes in the football department. But I just want to also overall just thank our loyal fans this year for turning up week in, week out, and
absolutely
make a big difference to the boys on match day and so forth. And especially seeing this young generation of little kids sort of supporting us as well, and it's just a great time for our football club.
It is indeed. Jason, thanks, mate, for joining us. Bye-bye.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Jason Xerri, the football operations manager, the senior football operations manager at DINAMO.
Westar Prestige is a proud family-owned second-generation business servicing Victorian motorists for more than 50 years. We are a specialist prestige collision repair facility situated in the western suburbs of Melbourne. However, we service all regions of Victoria, with many of our clients travelling not only from around Melbourne, but all of Victoria to use our services. We are also able to provide a digital platform for quoting clients' vehicles who are unable to personally attend our premises. We are an authorised manufacturer-approved repair facility for Mercedes-Benz, Tesla, Peugeot and Suzuki, and are proud of our ongoing affiliation with these brands. We also work closely with several of Australia's largest insurance brands who entrust us to be a part of their preferred repairer network. Our client support staff are always happy to assist clients from the initial process of lodging claims through to the final stages of collection of the vehicle on completion of repairs and post-repair. So remember, for all your prestige collision repair needs, consider Westar Prestige, an award-winning, long-standing, Australian-owned business.
And that, folks, brings us to the end of tonight's episode of DinamoTV. But just before we do go, just a reminder about the women's game, the senior women's playing their last game of the season at home on Sunday. It would be fantastic if we could get a big crowd out there to cheer on the girls. They are promotion bound. They are bound for Victorian State League Division 1 for next season. And it'd be fantastic to see them finish the season on a high, and your support would be greatly appreciated at Churchill Reserve, kicking off at 3 p.m. And it's the last time we'll be able to see our senior women's team in action this year. Also, a big shout out. Good luck to our sister club, Dandy City Hayduk. Get that Dinamo wishing Hayduk all the very best. Yes, it does happen. And we absolutely wish Dandenong City all the very best in their preliminary final this Sunday against Avondale FC at Avenger Park. Kick-off at 2 p.m. So this Sunday, if you're not heading up down to Churchill Reserve to watch the women, do pop over to Avondale's ground, Avenger Park, and support Dandy City in their quest to get to the NPL Victoria Grand Final. The furthest they've ever gone, so they've already created history. So well done to everyone at Hayduk, and good luck for that big game. Like I said, that brings us to the end of this week's show. Thank you for joining our rescheduled episode. We're back next Wednesday night at our usual time slot of 8 p.m. And until then, have a lovely weekend. And to all the dads, to all the granddads, to all the father figures at St Albans Dynamo, a very, very happy Father's Day on Sunday. Good night.